hello, people. How's it going? Welcome to stream. Welcome. Arsenal versus Newcastle. Backs against the wall. Saka apparently is available. We're gonna talk about all that. Will the players step up? That is the biggest question of them all. Is it too late to step up? That is another big question. We're gonna wait and search for answers at the end of the day in this stream. And to be honest, we're gonna look how things could go, because definitely it could go south real quick, and it can also be a very positive one depending on the situation. So there's a big time talk. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to look at Mikel Arteta's press conference as well. I know some of you hate that stuff, but we just gotta, because it's the business and the season, and we need to look how manager speaks compared to other days when the job is on the line, when everything is on the line for the club, for the manager, for everyone. So smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new around here, people. And of course, don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the live chat about this Newcastle game, your expectations, and what do you see coming out of this game. Big up Mubarak. Hope you're doing well today, bro. Arsenal are also on Atletico Madrid in the semifinals, so they manage his minutes carefully. It could be the case. It definitely will be the case. Let's be real. I think Arteta wants to win both. He cannot win both. I don't think he can win either, to be honest. But in Arteta's mind, I think the Premier League is the priority at the moment, because Champions League is going to be much tougher looking at the games ahead. Yes, in Champions League, we only have 3 games if we get to the final. At the same time, opponents comparatively, say the least. Big up Promise. Hope you're doing well this beautiful Friday. Weekend is upon us. Let's enjoy it as well. Hopefully, if Arsenal win, especially. Big up Kwame. Big up Hyperprotagonist. Big up. As far as I'm concerned, our season is over. Yeah, it's very hard to give strong counter arguments for it not to be. Even though we are on top of the table, second in the table, we are semi-finals of Champions League. The performances are not inspiring at all. Every single season we see the same story. The players already have been there countless times, so to speak, and we are again doing the same. It feels like the players and even the manager, let's be real, are not learning from the same mistakes, same issues, and somehow basically they cause havoc and they don't know what to do. It's like these situations, they are absolutely lost. And you would think that after 3 years finishing second, 2 of those 3 times being literally inches away to a degree of winning Premier League, you would make some long-lasting conclusions. You would make some ideas. You would have some plans just in case. And we don't. We absolutely don't. And that is one of the most insane things in general even to think about. And that is one of the most worrying things, knowing Arteta, that in mid-game he has no plan B, plan C. And now looking at another end of the season, we are crumbling once again. There's again no plan B, plan C, or anything. So he just doesn't have plan short-term. It looks like he doesn't also have them long-term, unfortunately. It will be a 1-1 draw on Saturday against Newcastle. Yeah, that is one of those things. We cannot afford to draw. For Arsenal to win the league, somehow, we need to win every single game by multiple goals and pray. Let's be real. There is no other way to do this. We need to win every single game, and we need to pray that Man City has a downfall. And if you have been here long enough watching Premier League, if you've been long enough with Arsenal in these title races, you probably know that bigger chances than not that Arsenal are going to crumble themselves. So it's definitely not looking too promising. Big up Social Joints. Big up. Come on, Bournemouth, of all people, that shouldn't be difficult. Nah, we should have won that match without excuses. Yeah, we should have beaten quite a few. Let's be real. We should have beaten Brentford. We should have beaten Villa. We should have beaten Liverpool as well. By the way, we should have beaten Man City at home. And that is where the league was lost at the end of the day. It wasn't in this game against City specifically. At the end of the day, it was lost already in the early stages of the season when we dropped unnecessary points. And people say, oh, it's just a one-off. Look, we are in a very good form. So to speak, yes. At the same time, playstyle was atrocious. It wasn't great. We lucked our way through to quite a few of those games. And on top of all that, those drop points add up at the end of the day. and they usually add up when people least expect. And we are now in this situation where somehow we cannot even score more than 2 goals, more than 1 goal, to be honest, in a game. We haven't scored more than 1 goal in a game since mid-March. And that is on the most worrying thing, yet we concede at least 2 on consistent basis. It just shows that our defense is not there. Our attack hasn't been there at all this season. And our midfield, well, it's like Swiss cheese. Absolutely insane that after all this time, all these processes and everything, the money spent, we are still in the same boat. And you could make a very strong argument, and to be honest, that would be also a true argument, that the attack Arteta inherited from Wenger and Emery was a better attack we have right now. You could definitely make very strong arguments for that, without shadow of a doubt. And that is the insane part. At the same time, you would have a counter argument that if we had a different manager, it would be a different situation. And to be honest, most likely so as well. We should have been Nottingham Forest, yes, Sunderland, Liverpool, City, United, Bournemouth, etc. It's an absolute disgrace, exactly. It's a sheer and utter embarrassment, to say the least. Not to mention that we draw points against our rivals. Like every single season for the last 3 seasons, oh, we have fantastic record against the Big Six and all this crap that got yelled on top of their lungs, and it led to nothing. And the bad part is this season specifically, as it comes, we don't have a good record against the Big Six, and as always, as we have every season, we don't have the greatest record against the bottom half of the teams. And now when it adds up, we are in this mess, and we are in this situation where we should change, we should adapt, we should try something new. And you just know that it's not going to happen. Just because this manager is such a stubborn person that it's either his way or the highway. And at the end of the day, long term, looking at how Arteta plays, it is not sustainable, and it won't be. So I'm very worried because these rumors about Arteta staying and getting a new contract, if they come to fruition, we are ruined. We are screwed royally. And that is, unfortunately, the sad, sad, sad truth, people. And can we turn this around? No, we can't. I don't think we can. Definitely going to take a while. Maybe a new manager could do the trick. Who knows? But definitely it's not going to be easy as it looks. Now, what we're going to do right now, we're going to look at Mikel Arteta. We're going to look at the press conference, because we have to. I want to see. I haven't read it. This is a very unique situation where, for a change, I haven't read the press conference before. And we're going to look at what Mikel Arteta had to say before the game against Newcastle. If there are any fresh injury concerns, Bukayo Saka probably is going to be in the squad. So good news. So it looks like Bukayo Saka is back. And we talked about this during the week. Is Saka rushed back? And it looks that way. It definitely looks that way. Because he wanted to play also against City, and Arsenal decided against that. So it definitely feels like he's being managed, but at the same time, he's not being managed enough, because with Saka at the moment, it's such a delicate situation with the tendon that he has problems with, that one wrong move, one wrong tackle, one wrong situation, and Saka again could be out for months. Missed the World Cup, missed the start of the season, and let's be real, since Saka got that surgery, he has never been the same. And unfortunately, there's a big possibility Saka will never get back to the same level again, which again is one of the big talking points at the moment in the fan base regarding Saka, that maybe we should cut the losses. Maybe we should not have given him the big contract. Maybe we should have just waited out to see how this season ends and then decide what to do with his contract situation. Because at the moment, those 300 grand a week, just know it's not justified, because the only way, and Top Gunners justify the same like this, it's because of the legacy. What legacy? But basically what he has done for the team before, basically on the feelings and on the memories. And that is not the way you should run a club. Because financially, when Arteta took over, they what basically what they do what they wanted to do is to get rid of overpaid players and stabilize their financial structure. 6 years later, 6.5 years later, we are again in the same goddamn freaking boat where we unfortunately are financially in the same deep shit. Overpaid players that are not good enough, and players that are not good enough also are not, and players who are good enough are not getting enough chances. Even if Saka is back, the damage has been done. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The damage has been done. There is no coming back from this. At the end of the day, there is no coming back from this. Big up, Godfrey. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Big up, Marlon. Hope everything's fine with you this beautiful day. Mikel Arteta on Calafiori and Timber. Calafiori probably in the squad as well. Timber not in the squad. And there are pictures as well in the training and everything. Saka was there. Calafiori was there. Jurriën Timber, as Mikel Arteta also has indicated, was not in the training. So how badly Mikel Arteta has messed Timber up? That right now for me is the big question, because this looks like we're going to see Ben White or Mosquera at right back till the end of the season. And looking at the games that we have against the wingers that we are about to play in Champions League, in Premier League, this is definitely looking at a nightmare, to say the least. We need to score minimum of 3 goals to be at least level with the City overall. Yes, even though we have the same goal difference and stuff like that, our defense cannot hold up anymore. We concede goals on consistent basis, at least 1, if not 2, which means we need to score at least 3 goals just to have +2 goal advantage to win 3-1. And we just know we are not going to do that because the pressure is there. We don't perform under pressure at all. Let's be real. And we haven't scored more than 1 goal per game in a game since, again, 17th of March, 15th of March, something like that. Arteta has ruined our players such as Saka. Yeah. Jurriën Timber, Saka, yeah, exactly. And it's a very big issue. Very, very big issue right now. On what has reinforced the idea this week that we are ready to go all in on the title race. The same that the energy raised, their belief raised. I think the clarity of what we have to do cannot be better. 5 games to go tomorrow. Game 1, all in. Let's go for it. Now, this all on paper sounds fantastic, right? In reality, it's not going to happen, is it? Because Arteta said the same thing against City, the same thing against Sporting, same thing against Bournemouth. There's the fire in the belly. There is food poisoning. Bring your shin pads, bring your beef stew and dinner and lunch. And nothing happened. And let's be real. The more Arteta pushes PR like this out, the less of a chance there is that we're going to see something unique on the pitch. Because it's a constant reminder to everyone. The more Arteta speaks about let's go for it, we are on fire, we're going to do this and all this stuff, the bigger are the chances that Arsenal are going to screw things up and fall flat on their ass. Because that has been the stereotypical, unusual pattern we have seen under Mikel Arteta, unfortunately. Yeah, it is impossible, exactly. Fire in the belly is the worst one. Well, definitely, yeah. Fire in the belly, that is gonna stick with the fan base till the end of century. What it feels like. Fire in the belly, bring your dinner. Basically, got food poisoning after that performance and everything. On what our supercomputer says compared to Opta. This is such a relevant question for the Newcastle game. What the supercomputer says and everything. Win tomorrow, game 1 win, and then we'll be much closer. Well, on having belief in what we are saying, I have belief in our players, in our people, and the willingness that we have to achieve what we want. The question is, what do you really want? Because looking at everything, how things are going, how players are performing on the pitch, especially in the last 6 games or so, I don't think there is belief that they can do it. And also, I don't think they want to achieve what the greatness. They want to achieve again. Oh, look, we tried close second again on Olay and all this stuff. They don't want to win greatness because definitely doesn't feel that way. The way they play, the body language, the way they are pissed off at everyone, the dressing room is gone, what it feels like, definitely they look lost half the time on the pitch, definitely does not replicate what he's saying there. And if we have to be perfect between now and the end of the season, well, no shit, Sherlock. I don't know. It's 5 games to go, 4 weeks, 2 big competitions to play for, and everything to play for. If someone had told us that at the beginning of the season, we would have taken it. We are so excited, and tomorrow, game 1. What the hell is this? Again, he's trying to pull this crap. Like last year, if anyone had these type of injuries, they would not be even in the top 6. That's what Arteta, something like that, said last year. This year, oh, if you told me in September or in August that by the end of the season we would be in semi-finals of the Champions League and on the same points as Man City in the Premier League, we would have taken it. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Now you can say crap like that. However, if you look at this nonsense that we were 9 points clear in the league and everything, do you think any of the fan base would take the fact that we are on the same points as Man City in the league with 5 games to go, fully knowing that during the season we were 9 points clear? This has been the worst Premier League in a decade or so, and we should be at least 15 points clear of City by March. We should have been. Nobody would have taken the same points as City at this stage. No one whatsoever, knowing how the season has unfolded. No one. And yet at the same time, now he can do some weird juju crap. Arteta, it definitely feels that way. He's definitely out of his mind. 100%. On our approach and team selection with goal difference in mind. Sorry. We don't know. We are just talking about possibilities. The first thing we have to do is earn the right to win the game and then win it. And then depending on how the situation is, you can think about something else. But the priority is that you have to be better than the opposition, earn the right to win the game and win it. That's the first thing. And unfortunately, Arsenal in the last 2 games have not earned the right to win the game at all. Southampton bopped us up the park. Man City bopped us up the park. Bournemouth bopped us up the park. We have earned nothing. We didn't deserve the wins. On fighting for the title against Celtic when he played for Rangers. What the? I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. But excuse my French. But who gives a damn? We were fighting with Celtic for 10 months. We got last kick of the game, minute 96 at home. We needed to score a goal, and I took the penalty, and we won the league by 1 goal difference. That was it. What? How does that basically turn into Newcastle? On the feeling he had then. Again, nobody cares. Nobody bloody cares. If everything is on the line right now. You have to put everything into it. That's what I said. It's all in. When you're going to play now, those 5 games start tomorrow. Everything that you have to put in on the table. And you have to make it happen. That's clear. How about putting everything into the game since start of the season? So you are not in this BS position right now where you are in Premier League. How about that? How about you actually play proper football? You don't ball games, you don't screw up players, you use proper rotation, proper management, you shut up about your pickpockets, bellies, dinners, and everything. You win games, and by this time, if we were doing that, we actually would be genuinely 10 plus points clear. We would not be on the same points as City. Because City, based on how they started the season, it looked like they will be another trophyless season, and they will have no business in being anywhere in any competition up there. At the same time, few months passed right now, and we are in a position where Arsenal have gone from quadruple talks from the top Gooners to treble talks, and Man City have gone from another trophyless season to a treble potential season. Make that make sense. Oh, look, what actually January proper investment in the key positions, like an attacker and a center back, which City both needed, have done for them. How about Arsenal do something in January? We never do. We absolutely never do. I genuinely believe not the last one, but also including the last one, every single season more or less has been lost in January when we didn't improve our squad, we didn't solidify our position, and we didn't get some extra players, some quality players when they were available. As much as Arteta wants to piss around and say that we look at every opportunity in the market and we look for the best deals, I don't believe that at all whatsoever. Because if that was the case, you would get Kvaratskhelia, you would get Lookman, you would get these players that were available for cheap, mind you, compared to the talent and potential they are putting out on the pitch and they have. Exactly. Big up, Ozzy Ange. Big up. I won't be surprised that it will be another trophyless season for our club for the fourth time. Same. I'm not surprised at all if it comes down to that. I am not surprised, and I won't be surprised at all, to say the least. Domestic treble in there is supposed to be worst season. Exactly. That is the nuts part. The domestic treble potential in their supposed worst season in the last decade or so. If that is their worst season, that's actually insane. Absolutely insane, arguably. Make that make sense. On Liam Rossignol being sacked by Chelsea, nobody cares. First things first, nobody gives a flying F unless you are a Chelsea fan. Because this is about Arsenal and this is about Newcastle. This is about Arsenal's problems, Arsenal's issues, Arsenal's chances, and Arsenal's future. There is nothing regarding Chelsea that should be concerning us right now. And this is the nuts part. Arteta says, full focus on the next 5 games in Premier League. Full focus on the next games in Champions League. We have to give it all out. Yet at the same time, you go to a press conference, he gets asked about days at the Celtic, scoring that goal, getting some feelings, then about Chelsea and other stuff, which does not concern our situation currently at the club until the end of the season in any way whatsoever. Make that make sense. And if we're using any different inspiration techniques at the moment, oh, bloody hell. Every game we do something different to inspire them, to guide them, to talk about a specific topic on the day. This week, we didn't have to do much. The energy has been good. The weather has helped as well. So much has been beautiful. We know it's so clear what's at stake, how much we fought for this with our people. Oh, bloody hell. On Zubimendi's relationship with his teammates and if he's going through and if he's gone through highs and lows. He's very good. Well, I wouldn't argue about that. To play 50 games for Arsenal in the first season at the level that he's done, well, he's been bang average. Best case scenario. He has not been sublime at all. He has had a few good games, but overall, he's been bang average. Some would argue he's been shit. Thomas Partey replacement, my ass. He cannot replace Thomas Partey's pinky. Let's be real. We've won. You have to do things in an exceptional way. He's very much liked by everybody. You can sense that if you go back to clips in September, October, November, I can show you when he scored goals or assists or whatever. The reaction and how he feels with his teammates so good. We are blessed to have him. I would argue otherwise. On Newcastle's recent form, we know the difficulty of the league. Very clear, the ability and the quality of Newcastle. What he's done with that team and continues to do, we know how tough the opponent is going to be tomorrow. We have to be at our best. If we do that, we're going to have big chance to win. How about you just win? How about that? Big up Handler. Big up Handler. Man City won't back down from this. They won't. They're going to just push ahead. They don't care. They just going to push ahead. We have no excuses. We should not have any excuses this season, last season, or season before. There cannot be any excuses. Anyone who uses excuses are just coping with the fact that this team is not good enough, the manager is not good enough, and the players are not good enough. We have to win the Premier League title or the Champions League. I doubt we will. We need to change. Exactly. But big up Eros. Big up Eros. Mikel music in the building. Yeah, City won't surrender. Whenever has City surrendered, by the way? Whenever. Hit the likes and subscribe, people. They laughed when we said Partey will be a big miss. Now we want Norgard, who is decent but nowhere near Partey's level. Yeah, exactly. They all called us insane and deluded about the fact that we think that Zubimendi is not going to replace Thomas Partey. And now look at us. He has been, Zubimendi partially has been responsible for quite a few goals we have conceded this season, quite a few issues we have had this season, and certain games where, well, basically we have not had a player based on the pitch. Isn't Newcastle overhyped? Sure, they're rich, but mid-table for years. Newcastle, they have had a bit of a downfall right now. Eddie's Howe job, most likely he's going to get sacked at the end of the season. I fully expect that at the moment if he doesn't get Europe, right? But Newcastle, I don't think they're overhyped, but it has come to a point where Newcastle need to do something. They need to change something. And it's very evident that Newcastle is going to go in a period where you either somehow salvage this summer specifically, or they're going to fall big time. And they might actually be arguably relegation form. Just short for the sheer reason. I know it sounds wild and it sounds insane, but Newcastle could be relegation form next season. Because it looks like Wissa is going. He wasn't great for them. Voltemade has been benched big time, and he's not useful for Eddie Howe. Gordon might be leaving, or will be leaving. Let's be real. Tonali is going to leave, apparently. Bruno Guimaraes also could be leaving, and that's basically their whole midfield disappearing in an instant. And do they have the abilities to lure those type of quality players to replace them? No, they don't. Can they get the proper manager to replace Eddie Howe as well? It's going to be rough. Zubimendi is just not it at all. These regulations are preventing Newcastle from spending as well. It's not helping their situation. Exactly. That also is definitely making them very vulnerable to certain aspects of things. You might be right about Newcastle in the next season. It could come to that. Either next season or season after that, it definitely could come down to that because it's not looking great for them. It definitely is not looking great for them at the moment. Nottingham Forest are winning 1-0, by the way, people, which just means that Spurs are even further from Nottingham Forest, and their battle is 1v1 versus West Ham if Nottingham Forest win the game. Just putting it out there. Voltemade is playing midfield now. Osula benches him at peak. Yeah. Like Eddie Howe, I don't know if Eddie Howe is trying to do with Voltemade something similar to what he did with Joe Linton, but Voltemade doesn't have the same attributes and the same abilities that Joe Linton has to actually play in the midfield. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he does with them. Tottenham might be really relegated. Well, it depends on West Ham, because West Ham are just 1 point ahead of them. West Ham are only 1 point ahead of them. And I think that is, if Nottingham Forest win, that basically is going to be straight shootout, 1v1, watching who blinks first. And the team that blinks first are going to go down. The insane part is, tomorrow, 3 p.m. kickoff, at the same time, West Ham play Everton at home. Yes, at home, at London Stadium. At the same time, Wolves are playing Spurs in Molineux. And if Wolves win that game, it actually is going to go, the Spurs are going to go down. Then I'm fully going to believe that. Saying that, the Zerbi going into the Spurs are actually playing some decent football. They did not deserve to drop points in the previous game. They actually are playing some good football. They're actually starting, it looks like the Zerbi is starting to figure some stuff out. and he's using players in their right places and at the right positions and at the right time with the right tactics. And if that clicks, if I have to choose between Spurs and West Ham, my money would be on Spurs to stay up. If it clicks with 5 games to go. If it doesn't click against Wolves, with relegated Wolves, if they lose that game, I fully believe they actually might be going down. Yeah, because the West Ham have 33 points and Spurs have 32. 1 point difference between 17th and 18th. At the moment, Nottingham Forest have scored 2-0. Nottingham Forest has scored 2-0. Chris Wood has scored. And if Nottingham Forest win this game, which now is looking very likely against Sunderland, they are going to be 8 points clear of Spurs. And I don't think they're going to catch them, definitely. Who blinks first? Apparently, that's another bigger fish to fry alternative comment. I don't know. I'm talking about Spurs and West Ham. I don't know what you're on about. But, yeah. Spurs that is considered in the Big Six, surely the 6th place, but Big Six nonetheless. The Spurs have been in the top 6, but to consider Spurs the Big Six, that's, yeah, definitely doesn't feel that way, does it? Anyways, let's move on with the interview. On if we'll play a bit more freedom towards the end of the season. I don't know. It's the goals for goals against. I think there's going to be balance of that. See, he's already doubling down that he's going to play defensive football. That is instantly saying he's going to play defensive football. First things first, it's the goals for and goals against. I think there's going to be a balance of that. That already is telling me that it's going to be a defensive football. It's going to be defensive football. It's been all season. That's why the goal difference between the two teams is so small. First of all, it's very clear that we have to do to win the game, to earn the right to win the game, to compete and be better than the opponent. Rest will come. He has said this 2 times already in this interview. This is not going great. On Man City only beating Burnley 1-0. It's always better to win by 3, 4, or 5, but you play in the Premier League and you have your opponent. It's very difficult. To be honest, Man City in that game should have won by 3, 4 goals. Like it should have been 3-4-0. Burnley got very lucky that it wasn't smashing, and Arsenal got, to be honest, very lucky that it wasn't a smashing as well. Because if some of those shots actually went in, the goal difference and it would be insane. Agree, but not the internet. It said that Spurs is in the Big Six. This should not. They should not. Tottenham. I think Big Six. Now, on if we have everything to win or everything to lose. Yeah, it definitely should have been like 4-0 to City. Exactly. I definitely feel that way as well, Heras. I thought it would be 3-4-0. And City got very unlucky in that regard. On if we have everything to win or everything to lose. Everything to win. When we are in position that we are playing the 2 biggest competitions that we've had this season, the position that we are in, I think it's a simple answer. Let's be honest, if you won the Carabao Cup, it shouldn't have been such a mess, to be honest. It wouldn't be such a disarray. 100% 3 or 4-0 City, I expected. I expected as well. It's just City couldn't score and they kind of... Let's just put it that way. It was an unlucky game for City finishing-wise and some saves that the goalkeeper made and everything. At the same time, luck favors the strongest and they still won. So, hey, it is what it is. On what he will do differently this year. Every game will be different. Well, fucking hell. Every single year, every game is different. Like, it's nothing new. It's nothing unique what you're saying here. We'll focus on the priorities and the things that we can do to help players arrive in the best state possible with the team and make sure that we have all the players available, which is one of the most important things and a big lesson we learned from it. Give them confidence, trust and belief that we are going to do it. Well, keep shoveling, my friend. Keep shoveling. On appreciating Rice's performances, I do, we do. That sounds like, yeah. We know the player that we have, how blessed we are to have him. The season that he's having again has been absolutely outstanding. It's about the next performance, and now it's Newcastle. It's tomorrow, and I'm sure he will step up again and make the difference for the team. I'm not gonna lie, Declan Rice has been quite underwhelming this season. He has had some brilliant matches, don't get me wrong. But overall, in the overall great span of things, and looking at the situation and looking what we expect from Rice, despite the fact that he does not play in his natural position, he's been underwhelming. And that is solely due to because he's been running to the ground. Mikel Arteta doesn't rotate him. And, well, he's injured. I fully believe Declan Rice is playing half injured. Trust the solid foundation that this club was built on, basically. In fairness, though, it wasn't for nothing because Burnley made too many saves, yeah. So that doesn't disqualify City from actually exactly. It's just the goalkeeper made some great saves, and let's be real. And sometimes when you look at these shots, like literally 2 inches left or right, a bit more, and it's a goal. Like sometimes these situations are like that. Sometimes goalkeepers stand on their head like that. And we are a prime example of that. Usually Pickford plays like God mode against us when we play Everton. Neuer in the Champions League. Remember that one at Emirates. Oblak against Atletico Madrid in Europa League. Remember that one. Like goalkeepers have those games when they feel absolutely untouchable. And if some goalkeepers actually catch that, it's actually insane. 4-0 Nottingham Forest. Holy crap. Igor Jesus and Morgan Gibbs-White have scored. Nottingham Forest have scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. They have scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. Yes, Sunderland are crumbling big time. Yeah. Nottingham Forest are cooking. Absolutely cooking. And that just means it's 4-0. Let's be real. Nottingham Forest are not gonna ball the lead, right? They're not Arsenal. So at the end of the day, that means that Nottingham Forest are gonna move 8 points clear from Spurs. With 4 games to go, well, 10-5, they are not gonna catch Nottingham Forest. It's gonna be 1v1 West Ham versus Spurs for relegation battle. Yeah, it's 4-0, 37 minutes, not even halftime. Exactly. Why Arsenal cannot do this? What is stopping them? Oh, right, Mikel Arteta. Never mind. Dumb question. On if the final 5 games being more about mentality than tactics. It's a reality, and in the context. Oh, here we go. Context, guys. Of the 2 teams and where we are at the table and the amount of games that are left, I think it was the right way for me to express it, and that's the way I feel, and tomorrow is game 1. What? He said absolutely nothing in the answer to that question. I'm not gonna lie. On how Saka has been this week. We have given him some time to rest. Give some time because there was a moment that he was struggling to sustain the performances because he wasn't comfortable. We all were saying this. That Saka was injured and he was playing injured, and people said we were dumb. And then so he had the right treatment and the right space. The lesson there. He had some time as well for himself. Pause. And now it's the most important part of the season. He's back with us. Yeah, bro, like Forest fighting relegation and Arsenal are fighting for the crown. Arsenal should do 4-0. Exactly. Arsenal should be able to go to Bournemouth, beat them 4-0. At Emirates, nonetheless, beat them 4-0. Arsenal are going to play Newcastle. Newcastle haven't won a game in the last 5-6 games. They're struggling big time. We should be smashing them. Then again, Arsenal are struggling. We are playing Fulham. We should be smashing Fulham. We should be smashing Burnley, West Ham, Crystal Palace. We should be smashing all of them till the end of the season. But do you see that happening? Do you believe Arsenal are going to go and smash all these teams 3-4, 5-0? No, they don't. Exactly. He didn't answer the question. He just mumbled some crap. Like, that's how insane this is. on how important it is for him to have time for himself, like last season when he went on holiday while injured. Because it was a long-term injury, I think it was a good moment for him as well to reflect on that, to have some space, because we've been constantly asking, demanding of him, and it's always moment to say, okay, now when you feel ready, let us know and we'll go for it. Okay, cool. On if there's psychological impact to being second in the league now. No, because before the psychological effect was that we were getting chased for many months. So what is better, what is worse? At the end of the day, we know what the best thing is to win the next game. So the psychological effect is tough regardless of where you are, because you have to win the game. I get what he's trying to say. At the same time, the psychological effect and the pressure playing Bournemouth in the second game week and playing in the game week 36, for example, two completely different games. Because in the beginning of the season, teams struggle, let's be real, because they haven't figured everything out. But at the same time, you have time to fix some stuff. You have time to fix if you drop points. But now, when this is time where you cannot make any mistakes, if you make a mistake, you are done for, you're screwed, you're done, you're dusted, sayonara, ciao bella, and all this stuff. Completely different psychological pressure. Let's be real. By the way, what's wrong with Chelsea? 5-6 losses in a row at the beginning of the season. They looked like top 4 contenders. Well, they sacked Rosinha. Like, basically, the Rose Garden of the Chelsea manager from Strasbourg absolutely lost it all. The players were confused about his tactics. They changed too often. They couldn't figure it out. They didn't like him. He lost the dressing room and they just sacked him. If we're getting to better availability in the squad now, if we are getting to better availability in the squad right now. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking. I hope. Now we need to get the best version out of them, Saka and Calafiori. So being available is not enough. Being available with your best version is what we need, and in this stage of the season. But at least they are with us. They certainly make us stronger. We miss them, and now all the players as well. They've just come back as well. They're going to have more games, more minutes, and hopefully we'll see a performance as well. More games, more minutes. Something you don't want to hear Arteta to say. On if Mikel Merino has a chance of being fit this season, it's a bit premature to say. He's evolving really well. He's evolving, guys. He's gonna evolve. He's really pushing every boundary that he possibly can, but it's a bit too early to answer that question. Oh, there are more questions. On Rice saying it's not done. Everything to play for. Go and grab it. That's it. It's there to grab it, and we need to do it. Well, on if we need to win every single game. Yes, game 1, we need to win the next game. That's the most important thing. That's the main thing. We can't control our performances, our mindset, attitude towards the game tomorrow against Newcastle. And that's the only thing that matters. And to be honest, that is true. We can only control our actions at the end of the day. Now is the highest psychological pressure from the entire season, because although Arsenal is second, there are still 5 games to play and is little left. Yeah, exactly. No room for error, backs against the wall. You cannot screw it up, because if you screw it up, you're done. You're absolutely done. With the same amount of points as City, yeah. Evolve, context, and trust, the 3 most used words in our Arteta press conference. Most likely, yeah. Would not be surprised. There should be a fan. Seriously, there should be someone who just counts all these 3 words, how many times he has said it in the interviews over the course of the 6.5 years. I think the number would be astronomical. On Eze, Odegaard, and Havertz playing together, there are so many combinations that we have seen all season, unfortunately, because we have so many situations. But then we see certain connections, and I think we better going to be. On those 3 in particular, there were a lot of things that I liked, and there are certain things obviously we have to improve. But there are a lot of things that I really liked in the game. Well, you said that already. On the difference between Havertz and Gyökeres, oh, this would be good. This definitely is going to be good. Very different profiles, but also very different games. The Man City game demanded something very different to the Bournemouth game. As well, it's not about comparing. It's having two different profiles that make the team really, really strong. And we have to use them in the right way to win games. That's it. Unfortunately, you use them the wrong way. So that's a bit different story, isn't it? That's a much bit different story, guy. Even better, take a shot whenever Arteta says these three words, bro. You go broke, you would go straight to the hospital. Call the ambulance, and then you can start doing it. On Calafiori's fitness, you accept certain situations because it is what it is, but we are trying to implement a lot of things to give ourselves a better chance. He's been much better this season than he was in the previous season. Well, it's hard to be worse because he almost didn't play last season because Skelly took his place, and Skelly did sublimely well. Who, ironically, we have not seen at all this season at all. Pretty much, let's be real. He was really unlucky in the previous season that he had the year as well. He's putting so much into it, and he hopefully can keep him fit. On the mindset being shifted after Man City defeat, because we know, we've been there, it's very clear that it's still everything to play for. 5 games, he's there to take, and then we need to go and grab it. I think it's very simple. He said that already a few questions ago. On how hungry Saka is to get back. He was in the great spirits today. You can see that the sun is shining. The sun is shining. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Yay! Sun is shining, and so are you. Big up Alesso. Just saying. And that he's back with the team because he had a different energy. He's been through a tough period. We certainly missed him, and he's back with us now. Holy crap! The sun is shining. Seriously, what? I'll still say it. I'm optimistic Arsenal can still win the league, even if by luck. There is a possibility. Let's be real. There is a possibility that Arsenal can win the league. But looking at the performances and everything, there needs to be such big amount of luck, and so many things need to go our way from this point forward that if we're talking odds, it's pretty much impossible. Let's be real. It is pretty much impossible. It's unbelievable that we loaned out Vangieri and Skelly has barely seen the pitch. Exactly. It's actually unbelievable. And we haven't gotten a proper explanation also why. The sun is shining. Come on. Sun is shining. Fucking hell, man. What's going to be next? The rain is falling. It's cloudy outside. Or what? What's going to be next then? Speechless with that. Yep, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Arteta is desperate times call for desperate measures. So that means Zubimendi as a right back, right? But desperate times call for desperate measures. The thing is, with this manager, how he does things throughout the course of the season, it feels like he's desperate all the time. Because he switches things around unnecessarily. He does some things that should not be done. He tries to fix that ain't broken. And somehow with Arteta, you know the saying goes, if it ain't broke, you don't have to fix it, right? Don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. With Arteta is, if it ain't broke, fix it. And it makes no sense. Like, if it ain't broke, break it. And that's how Arteta operates. And that is one of big issue with Arteta, that he actually is doing some things, well, for lack of a better word, backwards. Make two of us, Rob. Arteta constantly self-inflicts desperation on himself. Yep, that's the case with Arteta. That is the case. But anyways, guys, let's do the starting 11, guys. Let's do this, guys. Starting 11 for the Newcastle game. Obviously, we are putting in goal Kepa Arrizabalaga, right? Just kidding. Absolutely, just kidding. It's David Raya in goal. David Raya in goal. It still is an interesting title race. Yeah, yeah. But for some weird goddamn reason, like somehow, well, not anymore, but the relegation battle was interesting until, well, Nottingham Forest kicked into form. Let's just put it that way. Raya in goal. One thing I don't want to see tomorrow from David Raya is the sheer utter BS he usually does if he gets bored or something when he comes out of goal, causes unnecessary panic, gives hospital passes, tries to play short or trivelas and all that stuff. Play it simple. Stick to basics. Cannot go wrong with that. Saliba at center back, obviously. Saliba and Gabriel at center back. That goes without saying. Could we see both Arsenal and Man City winning all the remaining games? Yes, we could. Yes, we could. But that would just mean that Man City wins the league. Man City wins the league at the end of the day. That is the nuts part because, well, we are already behind them. For Arsenal to win the league, we need to score quite a bit few goals compared to City. And even if that finishes on the same terms, equal score, right? Equal goals. If we look at the games between Arsenal and City in the league, City is ahead of us because they beat us. So advantage City, no matter how you look at it at this stage already. Anyway, starting 11. Let's continue. Rice. Now, I'm going to put out 11 that I think Mikel Arteta is going to put out. I think Mikel Arteta is going to put out this 11. Those are my expectations of Mikel Arteta. I think Arteta is going to go with this 11 tomorrow. Kind of get the feeling it could be Calafiori, but I think it's a bit too soon. I fully think this will be Arteta's starting 11 for tomorrow. This is what Mikel Arteta is going to do because Zubimendi is going to play. He trusts him. So does Rice. Odegaard is the captain, so he's going to play. Saka is back. He has basically praised him into the ceiling in this press conference he has just done. So Saka most likely is going to start. Gyökeres. Looking at the Man City game, looking at the Bournemouth game, now looking at Newcastle game. Unfortunately, Arteta most likely is not going to start Gyökeres, and he's going to keep him for the Atletico Madrid game. And Martinelli on the left, obviously. Yeah, Arsenal need to win that game, 100%. Now, this is what I think Arteta is going to do. Now, do you want to build a starting 11 of what, for example, we want to see on the pitch? We would like to see. Yeah, but you know it's Arteta. He's going to be pragmatic. He's going to go for what has worked for him before. And this is the most proper 11 he can put out that has worked before, in Arteta's eyes, the best. Same. I would like to see our Arsenal being aggressive. At home especially, impose our will. None of this Bournemouth crap once again. Exactly. This is our Arteta lineup for sure. Because I think with how Havertz played against City, the way we will want to play against Newcastle, looking at their center backs, Havertz has the advantage over Gyökeres in that style of play. In Arteta's eyes, for sure. No, we will go regressive. To be honest, true, defensive and all this stuff. Now, let's remove this. Let's remove these players. Right? Let's remove these players and let's do our own starting 11. Why not? Our own starting 11. You're down for that, people? We still have a bit of time to spend here, about 10-15 minutes or so. We can do our own starting 11. You are down for that? Asking for a friend. These Bournemouth, Southampton, Wolves, and Sunderland games are really absolutely unforgettable. They just can't do that. Exactly. And to be honest, even though we won against, for example, Wolves at home, we didn't even score a goal. Wolves scored all 3 goals and somehow lost 2-1. That is the most insane part into all of this. Exactly, especially at home. Anyways, starting 11, I would like to see tomorrow. Personally, me. Now, Hincapié. I want to see Eze. Gyökeres. Martinelli. Rice. Kelly. Now, this would be my 11 for tomorrow. Obviously, push comes to shove, we could play Norgard Rice double pivot as well. If push comes to shove, let's just put it that way. Either this or in 4-2-3-1, we play Rice and Norgard double pivot with Eze in the 10, and the attacking mids are Dauman and Martinelli on the wings, and then Gyökeres up top. This would be my 11 I would put out tomorrow. Especially looking at how Dauman hasn't played a lot, and he actually did fantastically well against Newcastle, even in preseason. I know it's a year ago pretty much, but again, he did good, and Max Dauman is one of those, let's just say, unknown factors when he plays, because he usually causes chaos, a good chaos. He controls the ball well. He dribbles with the ball also very well. He's very, very good in that regard. So we'll have to see. We definitely will have to see. But for me, this would actually be my 11 I would put out. Thoughts? People, thoughts on the game, on the 11? Would you change anything? Would you be okay if this 11 came out tomorrow or not? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I like that 11 better than Arteta's. To be honest, so do I. I know I'm biased because I built it, right? But this would be my 11 for tomorrow, not Arteta's. Because I think that covers everything you need. You have a disruptor that can distribute long balls to the wingers that can attack with pace in Rice. You have a ball carrier, technical, quite strong, with good technical abilities in Skelly. Plus, he's left-footed as well, so he would be perfect in that left 8, since Arteta actually would love to have a left-footed number 8. That's why he bought Havertz, but he didn't work out there. Eze in the 10, he can do everything. Dauman on the right, he can play with Eze triangles and move across and give and goals and everything. Gyökeres up top. I think Dauman, Eze, they would, and even Skelly would create enough for him to score quite a bit. And Martinelli, he's just one of those that if he hits, he's gonna hit hard. And obviously, with the Trossard unknowing situation and everything, it will be very interesting to see. But for me personally, this would be the 11 I would go for, 100%. What can I say, guys? It will be highly unpredictable what will happen from here, especially the equal points and goal difference. Oh, 100%. Those two things are gonna be such hard thing to call that it's gonna go wild. Like for Arsenal, it has to be on points. We cannot allow this go down to goal difference and stuff like that. It has to be points. It has to be points on the board. Has to be points on the board. Anyhow, predictions for the game before we go. Predictions for the game before we go. What are your predictions for tomorrow's game? You expecting Arsenal to win, to draw, to lose? What are your predictions for the game, people? Let me know in the chat, because I am very, 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 let's just say, mixed feelings about this. Very mixed feelings about this, because I cannot figure it out specifically. What could it be? Like, this is what it is. What are the Newcastle news? I would like to know the Newcastle news as well, because that is one of those situations that would be very interesting to see how that goes and how that happens. Because with Newcastle, I know that Gordon is not going to play. I know that much. About the rest of the players, I have no idea. Haven't paid much attention to that, unfortunately. 1-1 draw. Either 2-1 Arsenal or 1-1. Wow. Interesting. People are more swaying towards a draw than actual win. To be honest, I am in the same boat. To be honest, I am in the same boat. I'm quite on the fence about this, and I can see a draw being in this game, because Arsenal are struggling, Newcastle are struggling. One of these teams, well, they're gonna either struggle both, or one of these teams are gonna come out on top, and it's very hard to predict. Obviously, Arsenal would take the advantage just because they're at home, but based on the Bournemouth game, that home advantage does not exist for Arsenal. Let's be real. But I am kind of in the same boat as Handler. Either 2-1 Arsenal, we somehow nick it, or it's going to be a draw. But let's be real. Since it's going to be a draw, we're going to be 1 point ahead of City, which means City will have a game in hand. They win that game, they're 2 points clear. And if that is the case, you might as well pack it up, pack it in, because that's going to be the end at the end of the day. Can't believe the game's already tomorrow, yeah. And then it's Champions League, then it's Fulham, then it's again Champions League, and it's West Ham, then it's Burnley, and then it's, what's its face? Crystal Palace. That's what it is. We don't leave London now. We don't leave London to play any of the games. If I'm not mistaken. We play Fulham in Premier League, obviously. Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, Palace. We don't leave London to play these games. So we'll see how that's gonna go. But yeah, people, if you haven't already, smash the likes and subscribe. I'm gonna see you all tomorrow evening after the game. Whether it's gonna be a rant, whether it's gonna be happy, or whether it's gonna be neutral. Let's be real, it's not gonna be neutral. We will have to wait and see. But for today, I'm gonna be signing off. I'm gonna redirect you to Aaron, Latvian Gunner Raid in the chat, and hopefully we have something positive to talk about tomorrow. Peace.